From a distance, he looked smaller, almost like the boy who first arrived at Hogwarts. But as the camera drew closer, the illusion faded. This was not the 11-year-old who once stood beneath enchanted candles. This was Harry Potter in his 4th year, older, sharper, quieter. He had already been sorted, already fought, already survived. And yet, something about him no longer fit the colours he wore. Draco Malfoy noticed first. Not with mockery, not with challenge, with calculation. He glanced left, right, then forward. His eyes locked onto Harry's. Harry didn't look away. Malfoy did, then returned the gaze. They stood in the same frame, not rivals, not allies, just two boys aware that something had shifted. Malfoy spoke softly. "You don't look like a Gryffindor anymore." Harry didn't respond, but he didn't deny it either. A shadow stretched across the corridor. Professor Snape. He approached slowly, measured. "You appear displaced, Potter." His tone wasn't cruel. It was clinical. "The sorting hat chooses based on potential," Snape continued. "But potential evolves." He stepped closer. "Tell me, do you feel where you belong?" Silence answered him. Snape's voice dropped. "Some mistakes are not made by students." Then he turned away. But the thought remained behind. Harry walked away and sat down alone. Not angry, not broken, thinking. Gryffindor had always felt loud. Bravery shouted in every hallway. Impulse praised like virtue. But lately, he felt different. Strategic, observant, detached. Word had spread, not to students, but to the faculty. For the first time in Hogwarts history, a resorting ceremony was taking place. The ancient hall felt heavier than usual. Professors sat in a silent row, witnesses to something that had never been done before. The sorting hat rested in Dumbledore's hands. He studied Harry carefully, not with judgment, but with curiosity. A faint smile touched his lips. Not approval, not amusement, interest, as if he were watching history unfold exactly as it was meant to. Beside him, Professor McGonagall stood rigid. Her expression was firm, serious. This was not tradition. This was disruption. Her eyes never left Harry, not angry, but concerned. There was no feast, no cheering hall, only an empty chamber, a chair, and the ancient hat once more lowered onto his head. The fabric brushed his thoughts. Longer this time, deeper than first year. You were necessary in Gryffindor, but you are no longer the same boy. Harry inhaled sharply. You crave control now, not applause. The chamber felt colder. And then, Slytherin. No audience, no celebration, only consequence. Malfoy heard, not publicly, but somehow he knew. He looked sideways, not smiling, not triumphant, studying. Harry remained seated, the weight of the word settling into him. Students gathered at tables, books open, tea steaming. murmurs floating in cautious tones. Harry rose slowly, walked toward them. Eyes followed. He sat opposite Malfoy. No one else joined. Malfoy avoided eye contact at first, then glanced up briefly. No hostility, only recognition. Something unspoken had begun. Conversations softened when he entered rooms. Groups near the fire shifted uncomfortably. No one confronted him. No one mocked him. They simply avoided looking at him. And somehow, that was worse. Across the room, 3 familiar figures sat together. Hermione Granger, Ron Weasley, and Ginny beside them. Hermione's voice was tense. "He can't just do this, Ron. He can't just leave everything behind." Ron shook his head. "He thinks it's what he needs." Hermione looked toward Harry. "Slytherin isn't growth. It's isolation." Ron's jaw tightened. "We tried to stop him." A quiet beat. "He wouldn't listen." Hermione's voice softened. "We told him he didn't have to prove anything." Ron whispered back. "But he thinks this is proving something." They both fell silent, watching him sit alone, and knowing they could not follow him there. Hermione's voice trembled slightly. "He's changing," Ron replied quietly. "Or maybe he already changed." Hermione swallowed. "He doesn't have to do this alone." Ron looked down, but he chose to, and neither of them moved toward him. Harry walked past the warmth of the flames, past familiar faces, pretending not to see him. He sat alone by the fire eventually, watching it burn, wondering when things had started to feel so distant. The dormitory lights dimmed. Students slept. Harry lay awake, then sat up, looked left, right. No one was watching. He placed his bag beneath the bed, took out a book, opened it, stared upward instead. A faint smile flickered. Not happiness, resolve. Morning arrived. Others stretched and yawned. Harry had not slept. He dressed carefully, adjusted his uniform, stepped into the corridor. Students moved around him like he was invisible. No eye contact. No whispers now. Just space. He walked the length of Hogwarts' stone passages, from one end to another, ignored. And yet, he did not slow. He did not react. He simply kept walking, as though he expected this. This was the cost. He stepped outside. The wind struck harder than the silence inside. He walked the perimeter of the grounds alone. And in that solitude, he questioned himself. Had he made a mistake? Had ambition replaced loyalty? Had he abandoned something essential? He remembered laughter in Gryffindor Tower, shared victories, late-night conversations, and Hermione's voice earlier. "You don't have to do this." Ron's frustration. "We're already with you." But he also remembered feeling misplaced. Here on the open ground, with no house watching. He asked himself again, did I choose growth? Or did I choose pride? No answer came. Only wind. Back inside, a hall full of students. Noise resumed around him, but not with him. He crossed between tables. No one stopped him. No one called his name. Students studied in pairs, in groups, connected. Life continued around him, as if nothing monumental had occurred, as if he had not shifted the balance of something ancient. Harry placed a book down at an empty table. Saturday. And then silence. An empty table. No one beside him. Harry looked forward. Not at the hall. Not at the professors. Straight ahead. His expression calm, but uncertain, because bravery had once defined him. Now ambition whispered louder. And deep beneath that calm exterior, one question remained unanswered. Had he finally become who he was meant to be? Or had ambition quietly stolen the boy he once was, to be continued?